Okay, now that we've kind of zoomed in on this, you can see how rough this really is. You know, it's not very clean. It doesn't look super realistic. And what I've done this far, if you're thinking, oh man, you've got such a head start though, I want to know how you got to this point. Just to show you how unimportant this is, I've got just some black paint here. Yeah, it's really not important at all. So I've just got some black paint. I'm going to let that dry just to show you how little this is going to matter. So let's just rough it up big time, screw it up. I'm going to let that dry, smear it around. It doesn't matter. This is just a blueprint of what I want. This is just an outline. This is just there so that as I was working on the rest of the painting, I can just tell myself in my head that, okay, this truck is going to be right here, and I don't want to lose that idea in my head. So then it just kind of helps me place everything else in the painting as I'm going along. And now is the time when I'm ready to work on the truck. So what we have here, not important. I'm going to show you how I can make it important. Now I've got just some various colors. I've got burnt sienna, white, black, yellow, red, Prussian blue, green. These are just like cad yellow, napthol red, primary green, permanent green maybe. So we've got a light source over on this side kind of coming in. So this is obviously going to be our lightest part of the truck. Now the first thing that I want to do is really get the color established. I'm not worried about details. I'm not worried about anything else. I want each object on the truck to have the closest color applied as I possibly can get it. So, for example, let's take some white. Got some water mixed with this. I'm just taking white and the mirrors. We've got these mirrors. Now they're going to be silver. They're chrome. So the closest color to chrome might be white. I'm going to go with that anyways. And I'm just blocking that in with white. Pretty simple. Same thing with over here, although it might be worth to wait. Might be worth to wait on this one because I have some stuff behind it. I always like to work from back to front, and I'm kind of skipping a step on this mirror, but I've already got it, and I've been working on the other one anyways. So, okay, so we've got our mirrors. You can see how all of a sudden those mirrors pop. Well, if we just kind of keep moving, what's the next piece that might have some white? Well, obviously, we've got our bumpers. There's going to be a lot of chrome on the front here. So, just going to get that established. Now I kind of went up on that part, so I'm going to take my finger and pull it down, and I'm going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to bridge the gap a little bit lower. Not good enough. Just bringing this across. Of course, let's just kind of make sure our headlights, we know exactly how we want these headlights. I'm not worrying about shading. I just want that color to be as close as I can get it for the time being. Okay. Let's take this upper part, get some white on it. Carefully bring that across. So it starts out fairly simple. I mean, there's nothing that has to be perfect when you're just laying things in. I just want them to be there. I want them to appear very deliberate. Like I really know what I'm doing, where I want things. It's just kind of what I'm focused on right now. Now there's going to be a little light right there. Another one. It's going to be kind of up there. Okay. Now, that is pretty much all we need for like pure white. The only other thing I can think of that might be pure white would be just the leading edge of all this, the stuff that's closest to our light source, our highlights, just to make it look like our light source is kind of bright. So I'm maybe just take that edge, get some white on there. So you can see as I apply that white to that edge, all of a sudden our light source up here starts to look, oh, this is an actual light because it's making this appear brighter. So that's the kind of stuff I look at. Okay, let's just bring this edge down too. Okay, so we've got all those leading edges, got some white. I want to get overkill with it right now. You can add white. White you can add at the end too. But that gives us a good start. Okay. Next thing, we've got kind of a green truck here. So I'm just going to keep white on my brush, and then I'm going to mix some light lime green, probably add some more white to that. And I want kind of that next layer of highlights, just going on the top of this vehicle. And the front here. Okay, let's get the top of this. Now, I'm only worried about kind of that leading edge. I'm working from the lighter area to the darker area. So this stuff that's down through here, again, not important. The stuff that's down in this area, on this edge, that bottom edge of that green I laid down, that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the top edge. And then we're just going to work our way down. So the next thing, probably take some black and mix that with our green. I've been getting a lot of questions about color mixing and some requests to do a video on color mixing. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to share that, because I am not a person that believes color mixes. I just go with what I like to see. I'm not worried about the science behind color mixing. I just mix color and go. It's just kind of the nature of how I've always been. I'm in a rush to do things, so I just mix the color. I try it out. If I don't like it, I either lighten it, darken it, saturate it, or desaturate it. So you can see I'm just kind of worried about that leading edge, that top edge. I'm going to get some more water on my brush, just kind of keep that paint flowing. Now I'm taking that same color and I'm kind of going back over some of this lighter color. I'm just kind of glazing that over the top. I want a transition from light to dark on the front side here. And take my finger and just kind of tap out some of that. Makes it blend together just a bit better. Okay, now I'm just grabbing some more white, adding this to the mixture, and I'm just kind of thinking about, I want some of this. Okay, I'm just gonna go right there. There's kind of some bumps in the hood. So we're gonna add a highlight through the hood right there. Try to keep my hand out of the way. It doesn't work for me to go with the camera on the other side. I like to hunch way close to the painting. It's just how I work. So I try to keep that hand out of the way. Just getting more of that color. And I just want, let's just establish that. Kind of see I had it through here. Yeah, about right there. Just want that to be, kind of lines up with this line here. I'm just going to pull that back. I just want to know where that is. Okay, good enough. Taking more of that darker color. Go underneath that little highlight that I added. Bring down the roof. Ugh, right there. Just keep grabbing more water just to keep this paint moving. Okay, now I'm going to pick up, try to get this in the view for you. I'm going to pick up some green and blue. I've got some Prussian blue, grab some yellow, grab some black. There we go. Nice darker green. I'm doing this all with a liner brush. It's a really old liner brush. It's not going to be great for creating super thin lines, but it's good enough to just kind of block in some of these colors so that the tip is pretty frayed. These are golden Fluid Acrylics in Liquitex soft body. If you didn't know or assume that already. Perfect. Now you can see that messy black I put in, all of a sudden, you can see how that really didn't matter, because I'm wanting to paint over this entire thing anyways. What I had down was truly just a blueprint. I didn't care what it was. So just getting some more paint. Kind of blocking that in. Try and maintain that line that I have. Want some darker green kind of on the underside of the roof. This is where I meet what I meant before, where I probably should have waited on that mirror because now I'm going to mess it up. Alright, so this is a good underpainting though. Second underpainting maybe. Just gets us a step closer, but not finished with it yet. Alright. Pretty good roof. And I'm going to try to clean up. So that white line there will be kind of the top of the box back there. And then behind it, that's inside the bed. I'm going to try to clean up that a bit. This is a stage where I'm just trying to clean everything up. I want everything to be nice and clean. I want the edges to be sharp. It just takes a lot of time. Okay, I'm going to add some white to my brush. Just picking up just a bunch here. Now, I've got kind of a silver frame around the window. Let's just start with this tone. It's got some green in it still. Not bad. That's probably curved too much, but move that through this area here on the bottom edge, and I'm going to add some black. The train's coming through. I'm going to add some black and put that. I need some more water. I just need it to flow better for me. Put that underneath. And at the same time, I'm going to go behind that edge. I can also fix that curve. That curve is too much for me. Go right through it. Connect it back up right there. All of a sudden that curve is starting to disappear. So now we're getting to a point where, okay, I've got some green established. Let's establish. I've got some highlights established. Let's establish some darks. So this is going to be a dark area through here. I simply just get it on. Clean up that bottom edge. Okay, so now is a point, because I want to be able to share some things further on. Now is a point where I'm just going to work on some black, and I might add some white as well. But I'm just going to go around and I'm going to clean up the edges, continuing to do what I've been doing. But I'm going to use black and white for the most part. Just darken in all these areas. Go around the wheel wells here. Just clean up that edge, darken what's underneath. Same with the tires. I might add some silver around the top of that wheel well. It's just going to mainly just kind of a grayscale, just cleaning up these edges. And when I'm finished, we'll slow it down and we'll kind of get to the next part where we really make the body shine. Okay, so now the grill and the edges of all the windows, the side mirrors, everything's looking a lot cleaner. I've just taken a lot of that gray and white and black, just really tried to finalize a lot of those edges. So let's go back to the body. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some permanent green as well as some red. Those are very opposite colors. It's going to really darken that, but I'm also going to add some blue. So red, green, and blue. I'm just going to try to get a very rich tone. And we've got a lot of highlights that we're starting to play with on the vehicle. I'm not happy with the hood yet, but before we get to kind of reworking some of the highlights, we never really worked on the shadows of those greens. And what I mean by that is the color we just mixed. Now watch this go on darker. What we're going to start doing is creating highlights automatically by adding these darker tones. We're going to begin to see the shape of the vehicle. And if this is a house, if this, I mean, this can be applied really anything. We're going to just start to see the shape of whatever we're working on start to evolve when we start focusing on some of these shadows. Go right on the edge of that silver. Watch how that'll really enhance that as we clean it up. Now as I'm taking this darker color, I'm going to go kind of around the top of that wheel well, leaving a little bit of green underneath, that lighter green. That's going to help that, kind of pop that out. Now, by adding that second tone of green, we can see how, I think we just have a better idea and understanding, better understanding of where we go next. So if you're working on these highlights of anything, go to the shadows before you keep working on those highlights. If you're going to get frustrated or stuck, just keep moving. Okay, now I'm going to take some black. I'm just going to add some black to that mixture. That's going to be darker yet. It's kind of making those shadows two-toned now. Put some down low here, and then kind of fade it as we go higher. Perfect. Now, I'm just going to go back to, probably going to need to get, probably going to need to get some more white. Just going to get some white on my palette. Might as well grab some yellow as well. Okay, So we're just going to add some yellow and white to our green mixture. We're going to go back to this area we wanted to be lighter. This is actually going to be darker than originally we had planned, but that's okay because we made a lot of that around it even darker. So now it really stands out. Go all the way back. Perfect. Now since we have that color, I was thinking about the hood. I don't like that white line that was right there. So watch how we can just change it by just going, and we just need to raise that up. And maybe just blend it. When you get to this point, we can really rework this with some oil paint over the top once we finish everything else. So when I start to get stuck with areas like this that really require a lot of tedious blending, those are things that oil paint is great for. But again, I just love acrylic paints because we can experiment without having to worry about layering, without having to worry about fat over lean, all those just different types of rules that you might want to follow with oil paint. Just adding more highlights, just kind of changing the tone of maybe some of those highlights. It's looking pretty good though. Mix a little more green with that. A little bit of a highlight, kind of right there as the hood rolls over. We might have a bit of a sheen. So I'm kind of trying to create that sheen right there. Maybe all the way across. Yeah, I like that. Okay, now that's pretty much all there. You could see how, man, that body in general, this car body is really starting to look more realistic. And sometimes it just requires hours. There are no shortcuts. So I'm just trying to show you as much as I can in this little example. So, okay, so we got to come to a point where we're going to start including some details, and I'm just going to take some yellow and red, maybe a touch of green just to tone that back. We're going to create kind of just an orange, this is just a dirty orange, yellow, red, touch of green. There's going to be things like side lights. There's going to be other things like roof lights. I have one there. We're going to have like 5 roof lights. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look how easy it is to get rid of before it dries. Let's move it maybe more like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why not? Then I'm going to take some yellow and white. We're going to give them little highlights. We'll work on that a little bit more. That easy. Just so easy to do it. Okay. So other things. Take some white, take some black. We're just going to mix with gray. There's going to be a little emblem, probably somewhere right there. Boop, 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 boop. That's about it. Easy enough. I'm going to take some more of that dirty orange color. There's going to be another one like right there maybe. Wash my brush. Grab some black. Now, the door has to have some kind of a seam, right? So this is where things are going to start to make more sense when we start to curve that seam around some of these highlights. Yeah, good enough. So now we've got kind of a crack where the door might be. Same thing right here. We're going to have right there. And then that seam is going to come around. It might be a little bit too fat. We'll fix it. Perfect. So now you can see we've got a door, and now it's going to get tedious. It's going to get very tedious. We got a darker color, boom, right there. We're just going to add just a bit of something going on right there. Okay, so we're going to have reflections. So we've got our mirror that comes down right below that mirror. Watch. Look at that. Now we've just kind of created a reflection underneath that mirror. Just something as simple as that can make such a big difference. Same thing, we've got our antenna. Look at that. I mean, that just makes things pop. So I'm going to work a lot on things like that. Just kind of just some random textures. You know, another thing that I might be able to get away with is maybe a lighter color. We just got somewhat of a highlight. Just like that. So things like that can help. So I'm going to keep bouncing around. We're really close. If you guys had questions about something I'm going to speed up here, let me know. I'd like to share as much as I can, but that's about it. The rest of it's just going to be a matter of cleaning the edges. Once we get this to this point, if we just work on cleaning these tiny little edges, for example, I'm just going to try to mix a color here real quick. Kind of a dirty orange color. If we work on things like around the tire, just cleaning that tire edge right underneath the truck right here, adding just some hard edges wherever we can find them. That's going to make that tire much more believable. Around the back, see we got some white right there. That white is not needed. So we can work on things like cleaning up that white. Just get rid of that white. Clean that edge really nice. And slowly, we're going to start building a very realistic truck. So I'm going to keep poking at just cleaning those edges. I might add just a few small glazes, just like I did with the antenna or the reflection with that mirror. Just some minor things, and that'll be it. You'll see the truck just kind of pop, maybe the tread and the tires, and I think we'll have a truck that fits very nicely into this painting. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. This truck is looking pretty good right now. I'm loving it. I might add just a few more tweaks with it. Again, I might add some oil paint over the top as well. And I've been thinking about maybe bringing you guys back into this painting when I get to the oil paint. But for now, that truck is just about where I'd like it to be. So I'm going to leave it as is and continue with the rest of the painting. Please be sure to check out my free print giveaway if you'd like to support my channel, as well as my eBay auctions and website to find other prints and originals. Both of those links are in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more great painting videos. We'll see you next time on another episode of Paint Like a Pro.